When you sit down at the start of any project and you look at the script and you go, there's 17 pages of dialogue, you know, where do we start? Where do we do it?
I wanted to use a famous landmark as the centrepiece for the story, and my first choice was the Baltic Centre with its famous glass lifts.
The Baltic is a contemporary art centre right by the river. We were so lucky that the people at the Baltic agreed to do this, and because our piece took place in a lift, it's the most visible representation of Newcastle because it's a glass lift that looks out onto the city. That is really what we needed. The location is the third character. It's the atmosphere. We couldn't have filmed it in a steel lift in a car park. It wouldn't have given any perspective to the city or where it was. So we were really lucky that they agreed to do it.
For us to shoot something here, and especially in a kind of iconic building as well, on the quayside, surrounded by all that beautiful backdrop, it's always exciting because the Northeast should always be celebrated for filmmaking.
What became really obvious really quickly is that it's way too hard to try and film the whole thing in a glass lift that's moving, the doors opens, that ping. You are so restricted on space. You know, all of these things.
So this meant we needed both a location shoot at the Baltic Centre and the surroundings, and also a studio shoot for most of the lift interior, and the two would have to match perfectly. This was made harder because, for a number of reasons, those two shoots actually ended up being over a year apart. We planned to start with our location shooting and then build a set that would match. We did a full scout and started planning our shots. And doing this recce was pretty vital because it allowed us to translate what had been in my head when writing the script into the actual spaces that the Baltic Gallery had. So we walked through everything in advance and started to work out, okay, where are we going to put the camera? How are we going to light these spaces? And the order that we would film it in on the day. We also looked at the real lift and worked out what little parts that we could use in close-ups and then what would have to be done in the set.
Stuff like this, we might just be able to go up and down a few times.
Yeah. We even tried out a few reference shots, both inside and outside, and they ended up being pretty close to what's in the film.
As an actor, you sometimes get invited onto a set where you turn up and you're literally shooting on the day. There's been no rehearsals, there's been no pre-plan for the actor, if you like. So for a director like Steve to say, we're going to rehearse, it is one of the most wonderful things to hear.
Before the location shoot, we did a full rehearsal with Craig and Phil because they're the main two characters, especially the scenes set inside the lift. So they would know the emotional beats of what happens in that main lift scene, even though we would be skipping it when we filmed the location scenes and really just filming what happens before and after.
To top and tail this picture, we had to know what we were feeling going into the lift. Then we were going to skip that whole section and then rejoin it as we come out of the lift. So because of that, the rehearsal process to get the central part of the drama was integral, so we knew our beginning and end.
We have to get out of here. Please help, help, help!
Hey, help! Hey! Just stop it, all right?
The rehearsal process is one of the most important things to get rid of the self-talk, the demons, get over the embarrassment, get the relationship with your other actor who you're going to be in an intimate space with, and also to allow yourself to trust the director.
I find any rehearsal time with the actors really valuable, especially if you've got a quick shoot, because you've had those discussions, you've made those big decisions already, and everyone is on the same page.
All those insecurities, all that self-doubt talk goes out of the window, and then you have the fun, improvising, trying things out.
Is this English humor, buddy?
Working with Phil, he's got something very open and honest about Phil. He's very natural. It just fills me with joy and laughter.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm here to see art with my fiance or something like that.
Don't you lie to me! give me my son back, or I'll rip your face off.
I was so lucky working with an actor of Craig's experience on something that is as low budget and intimate as this project.
Rehearsals are not about cost. They're about time, passion and effort and understanding the world that you're about to try and present.